cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly. Black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh, 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 oh. It's black and white. Black and white, just let me go. It's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. Just let me go. It's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. White, white, white. Black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh, 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 oh. It's black and white. Black and white.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Simracersworld TV, and welcome to the final round of the season in the Simracersworld TCR Series. My name is Chaz Draycott. Alongside me in the commentary box, once again to round out this wonderful championship, is Peter MacKay. Peter, we've seen a bit of everything this season. So many battles. We've had dramatic moments. We've had exciting moments, and also some rather chilled races with very composed drives in them. we could see a bunch of all of that in one go tonight, because Brands Hatch is a real gem for that sort of thing, isn't it?
It certainly is, indeed. Yes, Brands Hatch, of course, well known for drama. In my mind, of course, it's the circuit here in the United Kingdom where the British Superbike Championship and the British Touring Car Championship is usually concluded. Well, Chaz, we talk about British touring cars an awful lot in the broadcast here. It's I mean, goodness, you could write a book just about Brands Hatch season finales in the British Touring Car Championship, the drama that's unfolded at this circuit.
Oh, you could indeed. Yeah, there's so many things that we could reminisce about and go over. One thing that we do want to go over tonight is something that you may mention, the eagle-eyed of you will mention, if you look very closely at the windscreens of all of the cars out there tonight. They have "Thank you, Bart" written across them, which is a big thanks to Bart Delman, who has been our admin for this series this season, and he's been an absolute legend in putting up with the drivers, with us, with everything that goes on in this championship, the drama week in, week out. So we've got some wonderful decal layers sorted with "Thank you, Bart" on the windscreens, and of course the Belgian tricolour and "Thank you, Bart" on the number boards. I'll slow it down here just so you can have a quick look at it on Mats Borg Anderson's car. There you go, on the number 17 machine. I believe
Thank you, Bart.
I believe it was Mats Borg Anderson that came up with the idea as well. So a wonderful way to wrap this up, with having a good thanks to Bart this evening. Fraser Smith is currently fastest though, Peter, and I mean, going back to the very start of this championship around here, we saw one of the greatest races I've ever seen on iRacing around here. 6 cars battling for the lead, I remember, for a good last 10 minutes of the race. Bits of contact here and there, but nobody out of the race until very late on, where there was a bit more hefty contact, sorted that out. But I mean, this is a proper racing circuit, isn't it, this place? There's so much undulation. As Guinness goes fastest, Harrison Leitner behind him. Boakler, identical time, goes second. But this is a proper, or as the Superbike commentator said, proper blokes racing track, isn't it? Not sure if you get the reference from 2009.
I know exactly
Blokes
who you're
racing.
referring to. Yeah. Because dear, we do crack each other up, don't we, Chaz? I don't know if we crack anybody else up, but we crack ourselves up. So yeah, just this is to do a hot lap here, particularly in this Grand Prix layout. When you go through the fast right of Hawthorne Bend, Westfield, Dingledale, Sheens, it's really impressive. I'm trying not to say proper, because
Proper blokes.
proper race track.
It really is, though. You know, it's so easy to get it wrong around here, because it's an old school circuit. So if you run wide, there's no runoff area or concrete. I think this actually, at Graham Hill Bend, is the only place we've got any real sort of runoff, but it's concrete with grass growing in it, and it's still very slippery. But there's no second chances around here, really, especially on the Grand Prix loop. It's just grass and wall, isn't it?
Yeah, there wouldn't be any, should we say, dubiety about track limits at Brands Hatch, because track limit enforcement would be the fence, and funnily enough, you wouldn't see people taking it on. And but this is an amazing circuit here at Brands Hatch. It's got so much history as well. I love the fact that Fraser Smith has a bit of Tokyo Drift for us as well. Yeah, it's got amazing history. Back in 1928, they had their first race here at Brands Hatch, and it was between cyclists and runners. All in the same race. The runners won.
What?
Yep.
That's mad. How on earth did they win that?
I don't know. I guess it must have been quite muddy, and the cyclists got bogged in the mud, I suppose.
Say were the runners armed?
Yeah, possibly. Well, in World War II, this particular land was used as a military vehicle park, so it was bombed extensively. That's why it's so undulating.
Interesting.
Here at Brands Hatch. So thanks for that, guys. You've given us a brilliant racetrack to race on. And in 1950, the surface was finally paved to accommodate the growing interest in Formula 3 cars.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, I've commentated on the Simracersworld Formula 3 series that's come here a couple of times, and I can definitely agree. It's a good place for those cars. We have always had exciting racing there. Mr. Hussein in the chat saying Peter should be wearing the shirt. Yes, mate. We've unfortunately both been caught up in a few things today, and unfortunately have not had time to get that set up beforehand. I really am sorry, but we'll have to do something with.
Maybe
with
I could wear it in our
yeah,
Great British Highways episode.
Yes, the Great British Highways episode. Yes, we will do that. As Damien Harris points out, Corrington has set this lap time for pole position without any slipstream. He's just got that much pace. I have been touching on this.
Damien Harris is clearly embracing his true Audi driver by texting and driving at the same time.
He is indeed. I wanted to touch on this. Farewell, fiercely forward. I told him it should just say fiercely farewell, but he disagreed. Matthew Crisp is unfortunately, this is going to be one of his very last races, or if not his last race for fiercely forward, unfortunately. But he's on to pastures new. He will be announcing what team he's joined in due course, I believe, if he hasn't already, but if he has, I haven't seen it. Anyway, the fact of the matter is he is leaving the team, but he's got this wonderful, wonderful livery, which now dramatically contains a Union Jack and a Belgian flag, thanks to our new decal layer. But it's a really good-looking car in those colours, and it just goes to show, doesn't it, Peter? No matter what colours you put that livery in, it just looks spectacular.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
It's white and red.
Oh, I can see it all right. Oh, yeah, my eyes are burning. Yeah, I can see it. A bit of blue in there wouldn't be too bad, though.
You know what it reminds me of? With red at the front, white in the middle, red at the back.
Caliber Honda.
Oh, yeah, it kind of does. But because of the sheer amount of red at the front and back, it looks like the old Masterfit Vectras from the late 90s, which, we're back onto touring cars again. But, yeah, it's... good-looking car for... I'm not sure if Matthew Crisp was a good-looking man, so I'm not going to commentate on that. But
let's just say he is.
Yeah.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Why not?
Handsome Crisp is currently 6th at the moment. Bram Class, once again, head of his class, doing a smashing job. And Ryan Walker, who originally wasn't going to be racing tonight, has actually managed to make it here this evening, and he's currently the fastest AM driver, or Academy class driver, in this qualifying session, but not much of a spread in terms of the pace around here. It's quite a long lap in these cars, a minute and a half. It's your sort of average lap time, really, but considering that it is a minute and a half, we've not even got 2.5 seconds between the field.
Which is incredible, and that also attests to the improvement that we've seen through drivers in the academy class and the consistency class as well, who have really made their way forward and closed that gap to the leaders. Now, how are we going to decide who starts on pole position, Guinez or Bokler? Because they're absolutely identical in time. It's showing Guinez at the front right now, maybe by having a lower race number. I don't know. But Bokler's not going to be able to set another lap time here.
I think it's just because he set the lap first. I think we're back to old school F1 scoring, where if you set the lap first, then you get the priority over the next person that does it. So
now,
Guinez.
so we see that Damien Harris says he gave up after seeing Corrington Guinez's time. He's within a 10th.
Yeah, go on, lad.
I mean, I'm not a sports psychologist, but don't be so hard on yourself.
Well, neither am I. Thank God. I just tell him to.
I don't think you'd be very good at
it.
No,
I pull no punches, do I? So I don't really think I'd be.
There was no need to move across on that straight.
Yeah. Why are you doing that, you idiot? They just give up and give me a 1-star review, and that'd be it. There you go. Guinez makes life easier for everybody in the time in sector for, well, at least for a few minutes. 132.015. There we go. Corrington Guinez. Yeah, indeed. Smashing it. Absolutely smashing it. It's a French front row at the moment, which I'm going to have to get used to. Roman Bokler second. Norbert Leitner, the other HM Engineering car, currently 4th. He's just coming around the final corner. Let's see what he can do here as he goes for the line. The Hungarian is hungry for a front row start. No improvement there, though. No improvement there. Now, Michael Blake, by the way, was basically confirming the fact that he'd thrown the championship away last time around. He got very fed up with incidents, I believe. But looking at the consistency class, I don't know where he's got that knowledge from. Actually, I think I might have been confusing Michael with somebody else. Sorry, Michael. But he's currently 61 points clear at the top. over Jessica Myers, who has a qualifying ban for this round. So Bram Class within 82 points. Could still take that, but don't forget, Peter, from what we've had before, you get 60 points for a race win, so 180 means that you're within mathematical chance, but let's face it, in realistic terms, some of these guys are not going to score the full 180 tonight. But someone like Guinness could. He's 53 points ahead of Boakler, 84 ahead of Damien Harris tonight. So, really, if Quarantine just outscores Roman by, 7 points in the first 2 races, then he's got it done, mathematically. If he outscores Damien by, he needs to outscore him by about 40 points in the first race to get it done, so it's just going to be a case of he needs to finish ahead of them both in the first 2 races, or at least 1 or 2 positions behind them, and it's pretty much his. So it is still going to go down to the wire, which is always good for us, isn't it?
It certainly is, and don't forget, of course, when Colin Turkington won the British Touring Car Championship back in 2019, he came into that round with a pretty convincing lead. And then by the end of race 2, it was looking almost impossible for him to win the championship. And you're thinking, how did that happen? And then with about a lap and a half to go, Dan Camish's brakes fail. And it can go back and forth. I just have this, call me a doom merchant, but I have this feeling that we're going to get a little bit of a yo-yo of momentum back and forward today here at Brands Hatch. It's that sort of place. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the ghosts of those runners who were so tired out after winning that race against the bicyclists.
You never know. They're exacting their revenge years later. But one bit around here, back to touring cars and Brands Hatch again, one bit I always remember is watching, I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was it Sopwith and... I think it was Sopwith and Jack Sears, potentially. The original, the very first British Touring Car Championship, they were tied on points as Guinness goes even faster. They were tied on points come the last round. And, come the end of the season, they were tied on points. And they basically brought them to Brands Hatch, and they were going to literally do a coin toss to decide who won the championship. And they were just like, you've got to be mad, haven't you? You can't do that. You can't decide a championship on a coin toss. So what they did was they got 2 identical cars, and they did 2 3-lap races around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. And whoever had the aggregate time in the lead by the end of it was the winner. So they'd get out, they'd do 3 laps, and then they'd swap cars and then do another 3-lap race. But it was getting really late on in the day. And one of my favourite commentary lines of all time came about the fact that it was getting dark and one car had the headlights on and the other didn't. And the commentator comes out and says, you know what, it's getting that dark that pretty soon they'll be racing by radar. It was just with the old-fashioned, like, oh dear chap, like, sort of voice. Oh, no. It was just, it's getting so dark, soon they'll need radar. And it was just like with the old-style music in the background and everything on the highlights. It was just some of the most wonderful footage, and Jack Sears ultimately won the championship. He lost the first race by something like a second and a bit, and then he won the second race by about 5 or 6 seconds. So on aggregate, won the championship, and that's where the Jack Sears trophy comes from. He's named after Jack, who unfortunately left us a few years ago, but he's an absolute star of the British Touring Car Championship and one of the very true OGs, as you could call him, from way back when.
Was it an Infinity you got to race in the second race?
No, it wasn't. If it did, I imagine it'd have the headlight washer things hanging off. But either way, if you don't get that, you don't watch enough BTCC.
It's okay. You could be able to take it into your local Infinity. Oh, there isn't one.
Oh, ouch! Right then, Anders Lillijordet, TC Motorsport. He's going to wish he had more TC in the front of this car for this one. Stop it. Honestly, Peter and I need to behave ourselves more, especially after last week's performance in the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship and me talking about the back of the car getting bleached. But we've got Anders Lillijordet on the screen, and he's trying to improve his time. He's within a second of pole at the moment. We've not been on board yet. Let's do that to distract me. down through Graham Hill Bend. It's such a difficult corner to get right in a front-wheel drive car, isn't it, Graham Hill Bend? Because it doesn't feel like the car wants to turn in because you're going downhill. Then all of a sudden, when you get to the bottom of it, the circuit comes to you, doesn't it? You get this load of grip and you think, oh, great. So much like Anders has done there through Surtees, you put your foot down on the exit, and in these cars, there's a whole lot of naff all happens, isn't there?
Yeah, just absolutely demoralising understeer. That is just Audi life. In the Audi life, the understeer, you don't ask for the understeer follows you.
Yeah, it invoices you.
Oh, yeah, invoices you for some lovely, depressing understeer. And yeah, the one corner where you don't want understeer, that's Graham Hill Bend, the corner we're going through right now, onto the Cooper Straight, named after John Cooper, who suggested to the designer of the Mini, Alec Isnoskas, that it would be a good idea to do a sporty version, and thus the Mini Cooper was born. And British Motor Company thought that they would maybe sell a couple of hundred. They ended up selling 125,000 Mini Coopers.
And that, of course, the John Cooper Works cars that you still see on the road today. Corentin Guinez and Roman Beauclerc and Norbert Leitner make it a 1-2-3 for HM Engineering. Can anyone stop these boys? Well, Damien Harris, Fraser Smith and Matthew Crisp will certainly be trying. Mark Woodhouse lines up alongside Miguel Freitas with Mats Borg Anderson and Keanu Bourguignon rounding out your 10. We then have Bram Klaas and Anton Dupin, and we are just going to have to filter through the rest of the grid because, once again, these boys very, very quick to get onto the grid. Jessica Myers at the back of the grid there will be looking to come through the field as quickly as possible, so keep an eye out for her. But once again, HM Engineering locking out the top three here, Peter. Who have you got your eye on other than Corentin Guinez?
Ooh, I think Norbert Leitner. I think he's got his elbows out tonight, I reckon.
Well, let's see how many wing mirrors he has left by the end of this one, shall we? Jürgen Knockaert and Jessica Myers just about to take to the grid. But you can see the elevation and just the banking here at Brands Hatch. So amazing to see. If you haven't stood on the outside of the straight at Brands Hatch, then if you get the chance, I honestly urge you to go and see it, because it's just such a... You don't realise how steep it is, really, when you see it like this. I mean, that looks steep enough, but when you're there, you realise how undulating it is. And Paddock Hill Bend, I've had the chance to walk down Paddock Hill Bend a number of times, and I tell you, I'd rather walk down it than walk up it, because it is one of the steepest things you'll ever see. It is truly unbelievable when you walk it and realise that cars go through there at the pace they do. But either way, we're about to get the race underway. It looks like Jessica Myers isn't taking to the grid for some reason. I'm just going to have a quick look and see if there's anything in the Discord about why, but doesn't seem so. And we are going to grid without Jessica Myers, unfortunately, who may start from the pit lane. Yes, Jessica Myers is going to start there in the pit lane. But round 27 of the Simracersworld TCR Series is underway. Revs do not rise beforehand, of course. Norbert Leitner, as Peter said, he's got up into second place on the inside of the circuit. Now look at this. Well, would you expect it? Fraser Smith, Damien Harris having a good old ding-dong straight off the bat. Down Paddock Hill Bend, up towards Druids. There's a bit of fanning out behind them. 2x2 as they go around here. You've got to try and keep it nice and clean. Nobody dropping down by the look of it. A little bit of a tap here and there. You can just hear the contact going on. But it seems like everybody is behaving themselves early on here. And this is the thing, Peter. It's such an unforgiving track. You really need to have your wits about you around here, as Beauclerc's gone back to second.
Indeed he has, but the thing is here, there's a little bit of there's a strange dynamic, because you got Beauclerc and Leitner there. Guinez is the man in the kind of driving seat for the championship, and that's something that particularly Damien Harris and Fraser Smith are going to have to deal with all night, I think, because well, they're providing a perfect HM Engineering formed shield here, which is allowing Guinez to get away at the front and already displaying really ominous pace in that number one car.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying straight off the bat here. This is Daniele Giudici down the inside of Craig Schill. Paul Godden just going past him as well now, side by side, the two Sim Stickers cars. Miguel Freitas is off the road, comes back on. That's Bram Klaas. A little bit of a tap there, but he had to get on at some point. He's got the two Flemish Sim Sports machines giving him a bit of an escort behind. They're going to be side by side now into clearways, but they get it all sorted out. Bourguignon down the inside of Dupin. Anton's been great to watch, of course, reigning consistency class champion. But Bram Klaas is fighting Michael Blake for that honour. Michael Blake is actually sat right behind these boys, so he can see the class leader going away and taking points out of his lead, but nothing too much to worry about yet. You've got to work it over the evening, haven't you? You can't take every race as gospel of how the championship's going to turn out.
Indeed, it can flip on its head straight away, because if you Walker gets stuffed in the wall by Scott Malcolm, oh dear, oh me. Well, he said he managed to just rush to the rig to race tonight, but his race has ended very, very early, has Ryan Walker, and that's actually a very typical accident coming down out of Druids down to Graham Hill Bend. I've seen it happen so many times.
Yeah, Matt Neal had a famously scary incident there. You could see the terror in his face when he was in the car, expecting to be hit by another oncoming machine, but it looked like, Scott had the lock piled on to turn right out of the corner. Ryan, maybe he left more than a car's width, that's for sure, but Scott was still coming away from the white line. Everybody naturally goes to the right there, but it seems like a bit of 6 of one, half a dozen the other, and there was a bit of contact. Flemish Sim Sports deciding to become the Flemish Rallycross team as they go across the grass there, managing to survive it. But look at this now, they're starting to back this pack up a little bit here, Peter. You've got Michael Blake and Anders Lidejorde side by side. Michael does not need this for his championship.
No, this is a nightmare when you're running for a championship. You want clear air, you want predictability when you're fighting for a championship. And whoa, Leitner's off. Oh, and there's one of the wing mirrors gone. Oh, dearie me, Biff. Well, that's Norbert Leitner decides to tow it back to pit lane, so he's done. So, apologies, Norbert. That's my fault for recommending you for the race win, pal. Oh dear.
You got a bit of help. It was
a bit.
It was feisty stuff. I'm intrigued now. Is it the move over to the right that caused it? Because if Fraser I think he does just brush the rear end. Oh, just as Norbert gets on the brakes there, it's wheel-to-wheel contact there that pitches the car sideways. Fraser gets on the brakes. There isn't a second piece of contact, but by that point, Norbert has unfortunately gone completely, and that will have gone down. Well, there's not really words for how well that'll go down, unfortunately.
Not very well. This race is brought to you by JCB, for who you pick up.
There you go. Right. Well, coloured like a JCB, Damien Harris chasing his season-long rival, Fraser Smith. Now, these two have had some fantastic, would you call it races before?
Brawls.
But, yeah, I was going to say there's not really a word strong enough, but brawl, that is definitely the one. Oh, Ashley Gaffall is having his own brawl, or a fall, into Sterling's. He goes, love Sterling's. If you're ever going to get excited about going around a corner and you want a car that's planted, chuck it through Sterling's. It just feels amazing through there. As Ryan Walker has gone off. Jessica Myers goes through. Boakler doing the fastest lap of the race again here. He's not letting Guinez get away, actually.
No, he's not. No, and of course, but you wonder, will Boakler go for it? Of course, he's still got a slim chance of the championship, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He's still.
So maybe he's just gone. I'm every man for himself, and I like a bit of that. Give us some good racing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's it now. I mean, we've seen it in championships before, as I'm sure you've seen in sim racing championships as well, Peter, and all the wonderful commentary that you're doing. And you've got so many title fights that teams will work together until it gets to the last round and the gloves are off and that's it. You even see it in endurance races as well. If you're going to do a number of stints, teams will work together to make sure it's clean all the way through. But then if teammates are against each other, it's like, right, you've done your last stops, go at it. Every man for himself, like you say. It seems like we've got a bit of that now, because Roman Boakler is 53 points behind with a maximum of 180 from a race meeting. So there is every chance he could still do it if Guinez has a bad race. But how often does Guinez have a bad race? I mean, he's car one for a reason, qualified on pole at most rounds, won most races in the championship. He's been an absolute dominant force, but he still has his weaknesses. He has his moments in these reverse grid races sometimes. So maybe Boakler might have to rely on that this evening.
Well, I think one thing that Boakler's got to do is he's got to get on the case of Guinez as early as he possibly can and start to upset his rhythm, because he doesn't. You almost got to think that Roman Boakler as well. There you go, Roman Boakler setting a super quick lap there. The thing is, he needs to get ahead of Guinez and more, because Boakler finishing first and Guinez finishing second is probably not enough for Roman Boakler. So he kind of almost needs to back Guinez up a little, get past Guinez and back him up into Damien Harris and Fraser Smith. That's a lot of if, buts and ands, but we'll see if he can be able to do that. But there's no other way to do it. He can't afford to just sit behind Guinness here if he feels he can go by. And both Fraser Smith and Damien Harris getting up. Oh, dear me, just a tiny touch. All fair in love and war, as they say.
I imagine that wasn't the only one, but it seems like he stayed ahead for now. So no retaliation yet from Fraser, but flipping heck, can you imagine? I'm surprised the car's not turned red at this point. Either way, they've got Mark Woodhouse actually becoming the best spectator in the world right now. He's sitting behind them thinking, go on, have it. Go on, I could do with a podium. That'll do me wonders in the championship. Mark Woodhouse is down in 11th in the championship at the moment, unfortunately. He's not had the smoothest ride this season. 449 points off the top spot. But he's been in the thick of the action, though, hasn't he, really? I mean, he's always one of those drivers that's involved. But look at this fighting in front of him, Peter. This is epic to watch, and epic from where Mark's sitting.
It is indeed. Mark getting a very good view of it here, doing a great job as cameraman as well, and was commentating on Mark in a touring car event a week or so ago, and he is in a rich vein of form right now. And well, right now he might get a freebie here. Look again, Fraser Smith into the sandpit once more. He's going to get up the inside. Is Mark Woodhouse, and that could be pivotal for Damien Harris to try and escape from his big rival Fraser Smith. But they head down towards Graham Hill Bend, and Woodhouse can't quite seal up the move. And oh, Danny Fenning in the fence. And through goes Jess Myers in the Corgi Mobile, making good progress from a pit lane start.
Yeah, Jess Myers just sneaking through there. And Jess did contact me earlier and say there's something on the back of the car for Elizabeth Rodriguez, who races in the Formula 3 series here on Simracersworld TV. We weren't quite close enough there to have a look, but next time Jess is nearby in another battle, we will definitely be having a look. As look at this, Fraser is pushing hard now. You can see him just, well, I don't know, is that track limits? But he's certainly going for it out there, making the most of the fact it's a front-wheel drive car, because, I mean, a rear-wheel drive GT car, you cannot get away with doing that, keeping your foot flat, can you?
No, you cannot. No, it's not very friendly for for going on the grass. But an interesting battle here for the fringes of the consistency class battle. Brown class up in 9th position. Michael Blake in 12th overall, and Anders Lilly-Jordet in there too. That's what we're looking at right now in the Ricard Rydell-esque throwback scheme.
Yes, certainly does look feisty. Just a little bit more silver in it, it'd be absolutely amazing. Damien Harris does his personal best. Guinness does the fastest lap of the race. In the Academy class, we have Niles de Kuiper currently leading that one. He's ahead of Jürgen Knockaert, his countryman, and Craig Schill on for a podium in that class at the minute. He's trying to hold off Jess Myers for now, but Jess obviously in a different class, so he might not worry about that too much as we see Myers making her way through the order. But as you mentioned there, Peter, Brown class top of consistency again, and to be fair, he lives up to the name of that class, doesn't he? He's always up there and doing a fantastic job this season, but in the championship he's actually third, 82 points off the top spot.
Yeah, it just shows you that you can't afford to have slack rounds, because it will show up on your report card at the end of the season. Every single race count, every single mile counts of the season as well. Just gone past half race distance here for this opening round, their opening race, I should say, of this meeting. And oh dear, Fraser Smith heading straight into the barrier, no steering there. And how did Fraser Smith get that damage?
So he's gone off
heading
the road.
Dingledale.
Oh
my lord.
Oh, well, he's off the road there. And then he's gone in too hot. Is he going to get a bit of help? Ah. Well, again, it's going to go down like a cup of cold sick. Yeah. It's going to go down like a cup of cold sick, but the way he gained the advantage in the first place by going off the road, you know, shouldn't have been on in the first place, should it really? You know, he had all chances to back out of that. But then Damien does go down the inside, but I don't know whether he didn't expect Fraser to be going that slow through the corner, or he meant that. It's tough, because these guys fight so aggressively on track, you know, there's never any malice from the get-go, but it's easy to get fired up and get your tempers up, and when you sort of expect it from the drivers that you've been racing in a similar fashion all season, it just annoys you as a driver. So I can see where they're coming from if there is any malice in that, but it was a little bit clumsy, wasn't it, boys? And I think that's kind of the reason that Bart has sort of given into the passion of these drivers, as he's called it.
Well, interestingly, Fraser Smith has given his 2 cents worth on it. He's just one word: blocked. So I guess he's insinuating that he had been blocked. Not that he's going to block Simracersworld TV. I sure hope not.
No, indeed. Plenty coming up on Simracersworld TV.
I know. Why would you want to do that? You would miss the coverage of the Porsche Club of Great Britain's Sim Racing Championship. That'd be a very silly thing to do.
The funniest commentary in iRacing. Anton Dupin has just disappeared. Well, it's a good magic trick, but it's not helping his championship. But that's an odd one. I'm really hoping he hasn't got like a penalty, or he's just incident points have just done him over. That's a real shame, that. He's not coming back either. That's not like it was a connection issue or something, I don't think. Because usually you get a bit of blinking before it goes, but that looked like an instant disappearance. And this is Ashley Gaffall, just behind Scott Malcolm, trying to make some more progress up the order. Jess Myers has just got past Craig Schill, so if we go on board with Craig, we should be able to see the message on the back. I think that said, did that say Privateer 7 or something like that on the? I couldn't quite read it, unfortunately, Jess, but Elizabeth Rodriguez is Privateer number 7 in the Formula 3 series here on Simracersworld TV, and it's a wonderful livery as well. White and black thing, looks like a Tyrrell, like a mid-90s sort of Tyrrell, and it's just gorgeous. Really good looking car, but I think maybe Jess sporting that there is a well, just sort of shout out for Elizabeth, essentially. Now Damien Harris
sounds
is
like
not
a private joke to me.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure at this point, unfortunately. I wish I knew more and could see what it said, but Jess was being very well, just wanted me to find out, essentially. So Anton's feeling ill. Really sorry to hear that, mate. Hope you're all right. Thank you for racing with us this season. We hope you've enjoyed yourself, mate, and hopefully we'll see you out there again very soon. Now look at this. Myers now making another position as Daniele Giudici is on the inside. Jess on the outside gets a really good run. Now can we have a look here then from Giudici's car at what it says? Oh, it's a bit too close, Daniele.
A good look at the corgi anyway.
Yeah, indeed. I still couldn't read it.
I wonder what the corgi's name is. Could we give it a name?
Potentially.
What would we? No.
I think there's something on the bonnet as well of Jess Myers' car.
Klaus the corgi.
Klaus the corgi. Named after the fish in American Dad. But
named after Klaus Ludwig, winner of the 1979 Le Mans 24 Hours, with 2, not 1 but 2, convicted drug traffickers.
I knew that. I mean, we'll talk about that later.
That was in my blog. You don't read my blog.
It was an interesting story, though, either way. Yeah. We do not condone drug trafficking here on Simracersworld TV, but if you ever get stuck up in it and you manage to own a race team, make sure you don't get caught. Anyway, Damien Harris.
And hire Klaus Ludwig, because you'll win.
Yes, indeed. You'll get all the money in the world that you need for your drugs. Don't do drugs, seriously. Damien Harris in third place.
Say drugs one more time.
What's that? Oh, hang on. Sorry, YouTuber ringing. Demon. Yep, no worries, boys.
Yep.
Right. Anyway, Mark Woodhouse is
we did get censored by North Korea last week, though.
We did get censored by North Korea last week on the Porsche Club of Great Britain.
Rick Astley knows the rules, and so do I.
Oh, no. Here's Corentin Guinness for a minute. Well, there you go, everybody. I think that's that's probably the king of all puns right there from our wonderful Peter MacKay. But look at this from Corentin Guinness. He's opened up that gap again now, 1.7 seconds to Romain Beauclerc. And he's making this look a little bit easy now, is Corentin. It seemed like Romain was going to catch him early on, though, but he's just faded away bit by bit now, hasn't he?
Yeah, just when Bogler just got close enough just to tease him, Guinness went, okay, time to hit the afterburners. It's like that bit in the first Fast and the Furious film when Paul Walker thinks he's won it in his Mitsubishi. Is it a Galant or a Chris? I can't remember what Mitsubishi it was. I can't remember. But anyway, he thinks he's won he's Eclipse. That's it. Thinks he's won the race, and then Vin Diesel just hits the double NOS on the RX-7 and gets into 13th gear and just blasts past him.
13th gear. It's so right. And you know what? Like, I'm going to say this now, and this is going to be a bit controversial because it's one of the best films I've ever seen, but Le Mans 66, when the Ferrari and the Ford, as they are, going down the straight at Le Mans, why would you not already be flat out?
Yeah.
Why do they then have more throttle to give? Yeah, it's just, oh God. But yeah, in fairness, all wonderful films, and I definitely urge you to go see them. Matthew Crisp is doing all right in his Vectra so far this evening. 5th place, started 6th on the grid, so any gain is a good one. But Mark Woodhouse has actually gained 3 places. He started behind Matthew on the grid, so he'll be seeing that and thinking, don't really want to settle for that. But Woodhouse, I mean, we've seen that he's got this pace in him. He had it from the very, very first practice session that we did in the Simracersworld TCR Series. I think as well, if I remember rightly, Woodhouse led every lap of the media day and then ran out of fuel at the last corner. And since then...
well at Snetterton in the first round of the Winter Series.
Yes. Yeah, he did. And since then, he seemed a little bit cursed from then on. I wouldn't be surprised if that number 8 in his 83 car number was actually disguising a little 1 underneath there, because it's honestly like he's running the 13. But he's right on the back of Damien Harris right now, and Damien can't seem to do enough to get away.
I wonder if Damien's maybe gathering a little bit of damage after his various pieces of contact with Fraser Smith. I wonder if that's holding him back slightly, because you would expect Damien to be a wee bit hotter on pace. We've seen him be so quick throughout the season. As Keanu Beef Bourguignon going up the inside here of Bram Class. Now, this isn't for class honours, this is for overall honours. This won't affect Bram's class. Whoa, but that will! Oh my word, big hip check. Jeepers creepers. Oh, hang on, Bram. Ooh, now. Michael Blake's probably watching this, and he's just cracking his knuckles going, right, 1 lap to go, let's be having it.
Yeah, indeed. As soon as you do start closing up, it does give you that confidence. Bram's gone off again as well. He's run wide. Seems like there's a chink in the armour there for Bram Class. I'm wondering, has he got any damage? Car didn't seem to be behaving itself. I'm wondering whether it's got something wrong with it. He's just being steady on the input, though. It seems like he's having to turn a bit more than you'd expect to get the car to straighten up, but doesn't look too bad. This is still...
He's a class act.
Love it. Right, this is 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Damien Harris looks like he's going to hold on, but we know how easy it is to make a mistake in these cars, but he's keeping it nice and tidy. Same man up front once again, though. One hand on the title now, you have to think. Corentin Guinez makes it through clearways. And what a dominant performance again from him. Takes the first win of the night in round 27 of the Simracersworld TCR Series. It's another 1-2 for HM Engineering. Roman Boakler finishes 2nd. Damien Harris gets a podium position. Great drive from him. Then it's Woodhouse, Crisp, Freitas, and Matsborg Anderson is going to beat Keanu Bourguignon across the line. Just behind him, it is going to be Bram Class just ahead of Michael Blake. Michael getting very, very close at the end there. And here's Niles de Kuiper, who's going to win the Academy class, Peter. Another great drive from him. Plenty of championship points in the bag.
Indeed, yeah, good drive from Niles. And also, you've got to take your hat off to Jess Myers as well, because starting from pit lane, it's a long way back there from where she was in pit lane here at Brands Hatch, but to get up into 16th overall sets her up in a good position to challenge for much more points in race 2.
Does indeed. Now, like I said, I believe it's 60 points for a race win. Yeah, it certainly looks like it. So Corentin has pretty much done it. Actually, with drop scores included, Bart has confirmed that Corentin Guinez is now champion. So there you go.
Thoroughly deserved.
Yeah.
Thoroughly deserved. He's just the class of the field all season.
Yeah, indeed he is. 2 championships in a row. Awesome, awesome stuff for Corentin Guinez. Right then, now it's best of the rest. Roman Beauclerc lines up with him on the front row. We will just filter through the grid because they are going to get going again very, very shortly. But you have to say, Quarantine is so deserving of that. Peter is absolutely correct. He's just been, since he came back into it as well, it was like nothing had changed for him. So let's see what he does with these last two then. Is he going to hold off? No. Round 28 of the championship is underway at Brands Hatch. Keep an eye out as well for Fraser Smith and Norbert Leitner coming through the field. Norbert will feel like a bit of karma was served to Fraser. Oh, as Freitas goes very, very wide through turn 1. Jessica Myers already up the order 2 places ahead of Scott Malcolm and Niles de Kuiper. Now trying to go around the outside at Druids as well. Very brave stuff from Jess Myers, but have we seen anything but this season from Jess Myers as Freitas is off, gets overtaken by Bourguignon. And there's all sorts of argy-bargy behind him. Look at that again. Jess Myers now in the middle of the two Ignium cars. Bit of contact. Niles de Kuiper. I think a bit of broken suspension on some of the cars there, maybe. I really hope not. Car's a little bit squirrely through Surtees. Another biff there from Ben Hicks. Lively stuff straight away, but that's all we've seen from Jess all season. And this is close to second place. Damien Harris has his moment here, Peter, to try and get through and go chasing after Quarantine. What do you reckon is going to develop this time?
Well, this is his chance, that's for sure. Now, will Beauclerc be able to hang on to his teammate here? And if so, will he drag Damien Harris with him? And whoop, Scott Malcolm's off. The Falkirk Flyer has had an issue. And side by side with Jess Myers. Oh. That's never going to end well. Oh, dear. And Scott, hard into the wall. Be lucky to get away with no. Looks like he's got suspension damage there as well. Oh, now, Bram Class off. And losing place, his hand over fist, he's flashing his light, so he's obviously perturbed about something. But what was it for Bram Class in the 7 car there? But he's going pretty slow, all the cars streaming by him. Whoa, and Danny Fenning off as well. Goodness me, I know there's a rallycross layout here at Brands Hatch, but goodness me, they're all using it.
Yeah, they're all sort of showing their own candidates for said rallycross layout in case it changes, but this is certainly changing as well. Michael Blake, he's leading the class. He really needs to be careful now because this is all he needs to wrap up the championship. If he finishes ahead of these guys here, then he's pretty much sorted. So keep on going as you're going, Michael. But he's in a right battle though, and we've seen how easily a little bit of contact and a little bit of misjudgment from any of these drivers can cause that. We've got 2 TC Motorsport cars against 2 Team Mad cars. Oh, a little bit of a touch there by Anders Lillejorde on Miguel Freitas. Porsche Sport in the chat, do we need a safety car? We can help. Thanks very much, guys. Now look at that.
You should probably just call it, no. just since it's the low.
Corgi Mobile off. Jess Myers, I think, just got shouldered out wide a little bit there.
Dogs do like a walk on the beach, though, don't they? They'll love it.
Oh, they do indeed. I absolutely hate sand. It's coarse, rough and irritating. But either way, something that is going to be irritating for Quarantine Guinez and, of course, Roman Beauclerc is Damien Harris at the minute. He is not going away. But he doesn't have to. That's the thing. That's the fierce bit about motorsport. Get it? You don't disappear over a course of a few corners. Everyone's trying to do their very best. And Damien Harris is certainly doing his best at the minute to put Roman Beauclerc off, but it's just that strength in numbers thing again, isn't it, that we see from HM Engineering. You know, it doesn't seem like they just have one fast driver. They're all very, very quick. And when they're all up there near the front together, even when there's just 2 of them, the teamwork involved and the sort of rear gunner scenario that goes on, it's just impenetrable half the time by the look of it.
It's certainly ominous for their competitors anyway. When you see those red and black cars, you know it's going to be a quick driver, and of course these guys have been racing together all season, so they know these guys inside out as well. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough for Damien Harris and for Miguel Freitas, Fraser Smith and the rest. And of course this isn't even half of the roster of quick drivers that HM Engineering have got as well, which is a scary thought when you think about it.
Oh yeah, it's such a high performance team. They have got so much talent in their ranks. It really is amazing. But we have a lot of talent in this field as well, to be fair. We always get to watch some great racing. This is Bram Class, Fraser Smith looking up the inside as he makes his way back up the order. He's gained 10 spots in this race so far as Fraser. He's really on a flyer, and Norbert Leitner has gained 14. So the two of them doing a great job. Brown Class just kisses the grass a bit there. Class on the grass. His car steps out. But he really needs more places to get near Michael Blake. Otherwise, you have to say his championship is over as this goes on near the front. I think Boakler just got back past Damien Harris. Damien was ahead of him for a moment there, but not quite able to do it and make it stick anyway. But this is close stuff now, but this is all helping Corentin Guinez to just break away and seal that championship even more easily.
Indeed. Well, what a way to do it in style, wouldn't it be, for Corentin Guinez to do a treble here at Brands Hatch? That would certainly be a convincing way. But yes, I think that any attack here from Damien Harris is just going to give big chunks of time to Guinez and allow him through. But we're right on board with Anders Lilly-Jordi, with Norbert Leitner just up ahead, kind of on a bit of a recovery after being nerfed into the wall in race 1.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of it though so far. 15 places gained for Norbert Leitner. So he's going to be, actually he's in with a shout of reverse grid pole now. Don't forget we reversed the top 12 at the end of this race. So even if he dropped 2 places from where he is now, he'd still get that, but he wants the points on the board, you know. He's not concentrating on reverse grid pole, he's just doing the best in the race at the time. He's in the moment. He just needs to be careful in getting past Michael Blake now. Class leader, class championship leader, on the brink of taking the title is Michael Blake. Oh, he looks down the inside into clearways. That's scary stuff. Ryan Walker is actually at the lead of the academy class again, so he's showing his true value here. And I don't know how he's done that, to be honest, but great consistency early on, and he's at the front of the class again.
Indeed, great job from Ryan Walker. And got another comment from Porsche Sport in our chat on YouTube. He says Damien Harris of Fiercely Forward always gets the lion's share of the points. Well, that is his main objective.
It is indeed. Fiercely Forward, of course, with the big lion on the car. Oh, that looked feisty. Ashley Gaffall off the circuit. Fraser Smith and Bram Class having a good scrap together. But yep, Fiercely Forward, or Bravely Backwards as they've been called before when they've had a spin, doing a great job as ever. Always an interesting team to watch out on track. You know, they are such characters, and their drivers just do, to be fair, they just always seem in control of the Fiercely Forward guys, but they have a bit of a laugh when they're not. You know, they're always positive from what we see. But Ryan Walker's actually tagged onto the back of this battle now. He's right behind Ben Hicks and Ashley Gaffall. He doesn't want to get too carried away in it though, because before you know it, you can get involved in a silly incident and be off the track, and that's the end of your night, really. Same with these guys, though. I mean, no matter how quick you are, nobody's immune to getting caught up in incidents, are they, Peter?
No, absolutely nobody, and especially when we get to the reverse grid for race 3, where we'll see Corentin Guinez have to come through from the outside of the top 10. Then that's when things become a whole lot more unpredictable. But Damien Harris looking pretty menacing here. He's trying to just see where he can find a chink in Roman Boakler's armour, and all the while Mark Woodhouse, the stud muffin himself, there to pick up any scraps should they come his way. And Matthew Crisp, well, talk about a great way to finish on a high. It's I often find that when drivers going off to new teams, they have such a good whoa, because Bram Class, more contact with Ashley Gaffall. Oh, it's all starting to unravel for Bram Class here.
Michael Blake and Fraser Smith have just been off track, both of them at the same time, so I'm not sure what's gone on here.
Paddock Hill, I would suggest.
Oh, I think it might have just been
or
that. I think it might have just been that. So I think we got away with that. I was expecting to see a bit of contact between the two of them if they'd been fighting a bit hard. Got this going on further back. Craig Schill, Scott Malcolm and Jessica Myers. Craig Schill having to defend from 2 cars at once now. Jess looks down the inside. Oh, Scott and Craig both off the circuit. Scott more so. Jessica Myers goes through into 20th place. Real shame that Jessica's not further up the order though. Could have definitely got a reverse grid pole if she'd have not had the bit of contact earlier, but don't really think it was her fault. But this is a great battle, isn't it, Peter? 4 guys all doing their best times on that lap. Just give them one more person in this group and they could open a burger restaurant.
They could indeed, yes. With you now, yep, okay, yep, 5 weeks later, yeah. I tell you what, I've never seen a place, Five Guys burger joint we're talking about. The chips there are brilliant, but my goodness me, the portion sizes, like you go for a medium, that's enough to share for 2, and I like chips. Yeah,
bag chips with the
proper chips.
Cajun bag chips they do with all the spices and stuff on. They are just unbelievable. But
special dipping mayonnaise as well. Oh, perfect.
Unfortunately for me, the only Five Guys I ever went to on multiple occasions was in London. So I've got 3 mortgages now, but either way.
What a good burger, though.
Yeah. Oh, great burger, yeah.
I have to say, though, I tell you what, all from Lidl, brioche bun, Aberdeen Angus, big, thick patty, with some mature cheddar, a little bit of chili jam.
Oh, chili jam.
A bit of chili jam, a bit of mayonnaise on the bun, and sliced lettuce, and just cooked just right with some Lidl's curly fries. Peter's Sports Bar, the signature dish.
I'm going to be back in a minute. Well, I just have a crisis live on air. That does sound heavenly. We've got Damien Harris, though, who's not listening to something quite so heavenly at the moment, which is Mark Woodhouse right behind him. He's got Matthew Crisp still in there. Don't forget, those two are teammates, but Matthew waving goodbye to Fiercely Forward after this race meeting, unfortunately. But on to pastures new. Leaving on good terms as well. I think I got him worried last week when I asked if it was on good terms, and he was like, oh yeah. He was like, honestly, I promise it was on good terms. He messaged me, bless him, explaining the situation, and people just move on in sim racing. They often go from one team to another, just like they do in the real world in motorsport. I mean, the BTCC paddock has been really, really shaking up this season. There's so many great driver and car combos. I can't wait to see it, but we've still got to wait what feels like an age for it to get going.
It's going to be a Scotsman in that Toyota. I can feel it.
Yeah, I strongly agree. I think that Scotsman and that Toyota could be very, very good indeed this season. It's intriguing. I just hope he has less bad luck than he had last season, because he had a hell of a lot of it. But we'll soon see. But we've got cars all over the shop here. Jürgen Knockart's off. Daniele Giudici went off for just a moment. And we're 12 minutes through this race already. I don't quite know where that's gone. But still, plenty of racing to watch here tonight. Don't forget as well, please do like the video. Whoa, Woodhouse! I've seen a lot of people do that, and not often do they keep it out the wall. Flipping heck.
Whoa! Oh, goodness me, that is a tank slapper. That one there. That's a bigger moment than when you hit a big puddle on the motorway.
Oh yeah, and you just straight line.
Oh,
that was just whoa.
Now Joachim Gilbranson says, I need some surströmning. I have no idea.
I think
what on earth is that?
Surströmning?
Surströmning.
Either that or that's just a different way of saying something. But I think Joachim will probably praise my pronunciations of all the drivers in the Scandinavian GT series, which was a lot of fun to get on board with. I've thoroughly enjoyed that championship.
Rickard Rydelsson.
Yeah, honestly, some of the names have been absolutely phenomenal. I've really, really loved it. And half of them I get wrong, but yeah, there's just some absolute corking names in that field. But this is great stuff from Roman Beauclerc. He's now broken away a bit, but Harris, to be fair, was right with Mark Woodhouse, and now he's left a bit of a hole in that battle. So if anything, it's given him a bit more time to focus on going forward and chasing down Beauclerc again. But I mean, we've seen how fast Roman is. Doesn't look like he can do anything yet.
Joachim Gilbranson asking me to YouTube it after the race. Do you think it's some sort of like Scandinavian ASMR?
Well, for some reason, all I can think of is Scandinavian like sausage meat. I don't know why. No. I mean genuinely Scandinavian like sausages or something. It just sounds like that sort of thing. They do great meats over there from what I've heard. So, I mean, I've been to Iceland, and my partner at the time...
Did you meet Kerry Katona?
I did not, unfortunately. But she was meant to be our tour guide. I was gutted
Were there
when
any
she
mums
cancelled.
there?
There wasn't actually, because everyone was called somethingson, which is apparently the naming situation in Iceland. Stop it. Right. Apparently the naming system over there is you don't like, so obviously I'm Chaz Draycott. Whoa! Flipping heck, I nearly wasn't then. But I mean, if I had I do have a son. Sorry, Harry. I do have a son, but if I was in Iceland and I went by their naming, he would be called Harry Charleston. And my dad's first name is David, so I would be Charles Davidson. And basically, you take your father's name and put son on the end of it over there, rather than actually carrying a surname. So you know, people could sound like they're related, but they're definitely not. But yeah, honestly, some of the names in that series, they just roll off the tongue, really exotic sounding names. It was absolutely phenomenal. I'm trying to think of my favourite one. I think it was Kjetil Larsen was quite a good one, because Kjetil just sounds really, really good. They had the likes of Lasse back in there. Carl Jansen, he was a real star all season as well. Kenneth Gulbrandsen, Kenneth Ostvold. Who else was there?
Peter Kennethson.
There was one that was really hard to pronounce, and he was one of the Co-Anda junior drivers. Can't for the life of me remember his... Oh, Benjamin Fuglsang. Benjamin Fuglsang, which is just Fuglsang, apparently, but I like to put the G in there, and yeah, awesome. Anyway, there's a touring car race going on, which Corentin Guinez is leading, Rowan Boakler's second, Damien Harris is third, ahead of Matthew Crisp and Mark Woodhouse. Then it's Miguel Freitas, and Keanu Bourguignon is right on his jacksie, as some people here in the UK say. And I don't think this is over yet. We've got the wonderful man from Porto, and Keanu Beef Bourguignon. To be fair, Beef Bourguignon with some wine would be quite nice, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. Now you're talking a little bit of Portuguese wine. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can just we could. Yeah, that would be just right. You could just feel the gout just lingering, just ready to overtake you.
Well, just like Norbert Leitner did then on Keanu Bourguignon. But well, he made that look easy. But Keanu obviously making a mistake. That's the 18th position Norbert Leitner has gained in this race. He is on such charge.
He is a hard charger, that's for sure, is Norbert. And it looks like you've got a pretty decent grid spot for race 3. Fraser Smith also been on the charge as well. And, well, he's... goodness me, I know that today here in Scotland, on Friday, the restrictions are lifting where gardening and garden centres and homeware stores are opening because they're so essential. But Fraser won't need to. He's done his own lawn mowing here. Oh, there he goes again. Fraser Flymo Smith. Oh, there he goes again.
Oh. Having a bit of a lively one is Fraser, unfortunately, but still pushing on. But he's going to be in a good place for the final race of the night as well. So too is this man, Michael Blake, who, if he finishes where he is now, has wrapped up the Consistency Class Championship, and Niles de Kuiper. As long as he finishes ahead of Craig Schill in this race, with Paul Godden further down as well, he has pretty much wrapped that up. The gap between him and Paul is 26 points at the minute, and if you finish in 16th place, you're going to be getting 29 points, in fairness. Paul Godden is down in 23rd place. He's going to get 22, so there's going to be another 7 added on for him there. It's going to be kind of out of reach for Paul Godden, unless he has a very, very strong final race. But Niles de Kuiper is one hand on the trophy, but there is still a mathematical chance, like I say. Michael Blake, though, if he does finish like this, there is no mathematical chance for any other driver in Consistency to take that. Corentin Guinez, then, is on his... No, that's not his Scandinavian name. Corentin Guinez is on his final lap of the race now, with 1 minute to go here at Brands Hatch. And, I mean, has anybody come anywhere near him so far, Peter? I forgot he was in the race for a few minutes.
Well, I always say that's when you know the driver leading the race, not getting much camera time, is doing the perfect job, because they're doing it without fuss. There's no big moments. There's no big panic. He's just clearing off with superior pace. I mean, look at the gap that he's pulled from his teammate, real-world touring car driver Roman Blochler. I mean, it's just incredible. And Damien Harris hasn't quite been able to just mount that challenge. He's kind of sat behind Blochler the whole time, obviously not being able to muster that last 1 or 2%.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of these drivers are so quick, but then there is just that extra little bit of talent that just gets you the lap times, gets you through the race, and helps you up the order. I mean, I know people that, you know, you give them a hot lap, they're absolutely useless, but their racecraft is just so much stronger, and the way they compose themselves, they just manage to make it through a race. That's a nice early camera switch there, thank you very much. But into clearways once again. He's just been crowned champion. He hasn't let that slow him down. Corentin Guinez takes another win onto his tally. It's a good thing he doesn't have score marks on the door, because he'd run out of real estate. Corentin Guinez wins, Boakler second, Harris third, Crisp finishes fourth. He'll be happy with that. Woodhouse is fifth, and Norbert Leitner is just going to overtake Miguel Freitas at the line. And Michael Blake, my good mate Michael, is going to win the Consistency Class Championship. Very, very well done to Michael. Awesome stuff all season. And he's now got the job done from Jess Myers and, of course, from Brown Class. And Ryan Walker, great recovery from him to win the Academy class in that one there, Peter. But Niles de Kuiper, you have to say, as there was a big hit there for Jess Myers, you have to say now Niles de Kuiper has got one hand on that trophy in the Academy class as well. But we still have to go one more race to crown us an entire field of champions.
Indeed, yeah, it's gonna be a cracker, I think. But in the final round, of course, it's always the same when there's last day of school syndrome. I always say when there's nothing left on the table, the drivers really throw absolutely everything at it.
They certainly do, and it leaves us with plenty to talk about as well. Now, we are going to keep an eye on this for a minute or so, because some of the drivers, most of the drivers, have something planned here. They're doing a lap of honour for our wonderful admin and good mate, Bart Daleman, for all of the work that he's done this season. So the guys are going to all come out on track, all of them together, and they're all going to show us what they can do, and probably either how well or how badly they can organise a lap together. But good to have them all out on track together to do this. And it honestly is, Bart, a real joy to have a league run by you, mate. And you have done another wonderful job with this one. And we wanted to make sure that you knew how much everybody here really appreciates that. So we are going to get 90% of the drivers out there. They have been working on this in Discord and all chatting about it. Not everybody was included, but that's not any fault of their own. You know, we did try and invite as many people as we possibly could to get involved as well. Typically, Fraser Smith is off the road with a bit of damage there. I'm not sure whether he did that himself. Oh, Niles de Kuiper just decides that he doesn't want to play. And there you go. But they're actually cutting through the Indy circuit here. Let's zoom that off. Oh. But here you go, look at that. There you go. I think they're going to line up as well. Look at this. It's like Touring Car Media Day style.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's very cool.
This is for you, Bart, mate. After doing a wonderful job on running this league, all the drivers wanted to say thank you, and they thought that they'd do something like this just for you, buddy. Just to line up, and it's almost like a salute, you could say, for all these guys. There will be more joining in as well. It's Damien Harris. I think there is the number 123. I have Danny Fenning joining in as well. And they all want to make sure that they're all lined up as well, because they are going to do a picture for this as well. Somebody will be choreographing this as well to tell them how to line up and what to do, but great stuff, don't you agree?
I think it's absolutely superb. Yeah, are they flashing the lights? I can't quite tell. I hope so.
I think they're all going to do a synchronised flash.
Flash, yeah.
So we will wait and see that.
Yeah, Fraser Smith's coordinating that one.
It wouldn't surprise me. There you go. There's Matthew Chris flashing. That was one of the TC Motorsport cars further back. Great camera angle for this, though, as well. It really shows you the angle of it, doesn't it, at Brands?
It does, yeah. I mean, you see that real, the dip when they come through there. I love that when the superbikes are going through there as well. You see the real compression on the suspension, and then just as it pogos you out the other end, you've got to try and get on the brakes for Paddock Hill Bend.
And you know what, Peter? In the wonderful spirit of the end of the season, you know, everyone, Dave Crozier has asked for a 3-wide start for the final race. But in the positive spirits of this final round, Damien Harris has actually said sorry to Fraser for the contact in race 2. He feels like he was at fault for that one. Just a bit of background knowledge there, everybody. But look at this. All flashing the headlights away, and they're all going to get going. I think they're going to try and maintain a lap like this, although Jess Myers has decided to go into the middle of the road. Have to see whether they can manage it. But they're just doing a lap of honour for our mate Bart Daleman. Awesome. And there you go. De Kuiper goes fastest. 2 minutes 10. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's not quite the red arrows, but still, what a gesture. And it's great that the sim racing community does promote stuff like this so much. You know, it gives people a chance to do it. We've got Fraser locking up the handbrake at the back of the field there, very much like the red arrows. Not that Hawk T1s of the Royal Air Force have handbrakes, but either way, plenty of smoke. But we'll keep these cameras on, everybody. But Peter and I are just going to take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll be back with you just before the final race gets underway. Now, just before the session finishes, everybody, I want to just point out this amazing parking by Miguel Freitas in the pit lane there. Not only did he do a wonderful handbrake turn, but I don't think he actually touched any other cars in doing so. Well, he went through the other car, but still, phenomenal parking by Miguel Freitas. But what a wonderful, wonderful touch that was by everybody in the field there, Peter. That's always nice to see, isn't it, mate? Just some great gratitude from all these drivers.
Indeed, absolutely, and thoroughly deserved for Bart Daleman. It's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to put everything together, and we're going to have, hopefully, we'll get an absolute thriller of a last race here to seal the season off nicely. But obviously, it's difficult to it must be difficult to get a parking space in Porto with. But Miguel has obviously worked out the technique to do the kind of gymkhana into the space backwards with the handbrake on.
Certainly seems necessary, that's for sure. Either way, we are in for a corker of a final race. We do still have an Academy class champion to crown. So, Niles de Kuiper, he's on the brink of being able to do that. But let's see what the grid looks like for this final one then. Anders Lillisjorde takes pole position from Michael Blake and Fraser Smith, with Mats Borg Anderson, Keanu Bourguignon and Miguel Freitas behind. Then it's Norbert Leitner, Mark Woodhouse, Matthew Crisp, Damien Harris, Roman Bokler and Corentin Guinez. The rest of them will still filter through. Niles de Kuiper just needs to finish ahead of Craig Schill and Paul Godden to guarantee that he is champion. So, Peter, got your eyes on anybody for this final one, mate?
Ooh, Fraser Smith.
There you go. Right then, the final round of the Simracersworld TCR Series from Brands Hatch is underway. Flagman goes absolutely bonkers. Jess Myers and Ashley Gaffall have both gained places already. Look at Fraser Smith coming through the middle. Michael Blake, newly crowned consistency class champion. Nothing to worry about now for him. He gets to crack on with this and enjoy this final race. Ryan Walker has stayed where he started. Niles de Kuiper has lost 4 spots off the very start. He's having a bit of a nightmare to begin with. Oh, there's contact right in front of him. That's Giudici and Scott Malcolm that have got stuck together and gone off. Look at all this, though. Wow. Through... I don't even have words for that. It's just a sea of German engineering and invoices.
Indeed, yeah. It's a big, big gathering there of Audi RS3s piling through 30s and up the straight now towards Hawthorne Bend, named after the great Mike Hawthorne, who always raced in a bow tie.
Yes.
And a fire suit, but a bow tie as well.
Yeah, one a little bit more important than the other, but still great class. Good class here from the two fiercely forward drivers, Matthew Crisp and Damien Harris. Matthew's final race for fiercely forward. He's going to be hoping to go fiercely forward to show them what he can do and what they're going to miss, I imagine. They've got Corentin Guinez just behind. Oh, he's not going to miss that. It's Damien Harris, a bit of a shoulder barge into there. I don't care whose fault it was. Either way, there's a bit of argy-bargy. Great stuff. This is what they can expect in future, he says. Awesome racing, still very closely side by side. Danny Fenning has put it off. Fraser Smith has gone down the inside of Anders Lillisjorde and is already to the front of the pack. There's 2 TC Motorsport cars in the top 4. Keanu Bourguignon lingering as well. That's very close, that, Peter, but this is just exactly what we want for this final round. Lots of excitement.
Plenty, absolutely plenty of excitement at the front here as well as they pile down through Paddock Hill Bend. A couple of the Flemish Simsport guys there too, and whoa, Matthew Crisp has gone off onto the gravel there, and it's all getting very tight heading into Druys, and bang, there we go again. Lillisjorde getting hip checked by Guinez, who goes through into 8th position.
Oh, no.
Oh, there was never room there. Bang, and again. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Not sure what Brown was after there. That was clumsy, naughty. Oh, Jessica Myers has got contact with Walker. Oh, Jess Myers has been in the wall. That's Tom Onslow Cole style, that. That was a massive, massive hit. Lillisjorde's off as well. That all just got a little bit messy. Lillisjorde went off at the top of the hill. Let's see if we can piece this together, shall we? So Lillisjorde, oh, they were 3 wide. Gets very clumsy in there. Then Guinez, oh, a little bit of a tap there. And then Damien Harris, oh, a tap there. And then Bram Class puts his nose down the inside. That was never going to work. And then through all that, Jess Myers comes through. Ryan Walker's there. Oh, Jess just carries on going left. And then there's a tap. Straightens up the other car, but smacks into Jess and into the wall. Unfortunately, I think all that happened because there was a bit of a compression in the middle, as you often get there, but Jess just didn't leave the room. Everybody's just pushing each other off the circuit here. This is mayhem, like you said, Peter. Last day of school, very much so, my friend. This is great stuff.
Yeah, this is where you can get away with things as well. If there's going to be any post-race protest, Bart's going to be like, I've checked out. My out of office is on. Sorry, guys. Figure it out amongst yourselves.
Yeah, message each other. But that's it now. Mark Woodhouse is getting absolutely mugged by HM Engineering cars. Oh, there's a tap there. That was Damien Harris. Taps Roman Bokler sideways. Matthew Crisp says, hi, mate. That was my teammate that did that. I'm not teammates with him now. Do you want me to go send him? Well, Matthew Crisp goes through with what's left of his Audi. Look at all that in the background. Leitner joining the next rallycross programme for HM Engineering. Woodhouse down the inside of him. Oh, side by side again. They're just absolutely sending it on each other. I absolutely love this. Like
this is already the craziest race of the season.
It is, isn't it? This is fantastic. Bokler's done the fastest lap of the race last time round, 1:34.4. That's probably why he got sent. They just knew, right, we need to stop this guy. He's absolutely on it. Once again, Roman Bokler, Matthew Crisp right behind him. But Fraser Smith, it's amazing that it's the craziest race of the season, and Fraser Smith's actually probably the one with the cleanest car out there. Usually he's the one right in the middle of it all, but he's leading the race from Keanu Bourguignon and Michael Blake, while all of this happens in the background.
Look who's in sixth, though. Corentin Guinez. If he can get past Miguel Freitas quickly here, there's nothing that this man can't do. And I tell you what, I mean, what a story this would be to come from deep in the pack to claim a treble to sign off on another championship here in the Simracersworld TCR Series. Would be certainly doing it in style, that's for sure.
Oh, it would. It would be absolutely titanic stuff from Corentin Guinez. Look at how he set that up there on Miguel Freitas. He took a late apex, got himself ready for the run out of the corner. He's just looking around the inside here, but he's going to again try and get a good run off the corner. Oh, that's Jess Myers off, is it? Jess Myers off again.
Yeah, I think so. Got a tow back, got the spare car. The spare car's knackered as well. Oh, Biff. Oh, dear, that's not the Corgi. Who was that?
Oh, that was Matsborg Anderson, I think.
Oh,
but
get him off the circuit.
Jess was right up there with the leaders, sort of semi-involved in the fight, but it has been a very rough evening for Jess Myers to round out the championship, unfortunately. What's been a very topsy-turvy season for Jess as well. It's not been easy. The poor Corgi Mobile has been bashed at all angles. Now look at that round. How do you do that round Hawthorne? That's bonkers.
Goodness only knows. That's
Westfield is just, well, that's a scary corner in itself. The commitment you need through Westfield is just second to none. But that's great stuff from Guinez, really showing his class there. And he's showing that he's not just a driver that can lead from the front like Vettel used to. You know, he gets in a fight and he properly works hard on it, and he can continue to move forward from there. But it's just constant progress. Bram Class is on the grass, but this man, Niles de Kuiper, doing everything he needs to do at the minute. He's about to, well, I say about to, he's still got 13.5 minutes to do it, but he's in a bit of clean air here, and this is all he needs really, isn't it, Peter? Just time to focus on his race, no distractions, no strain, just crack on.
Just hit your marks, as they say.
Yes.
That's the main thing you got to do at this point, in the late point in the season, and the job is done. Easy as that, no problem. But I'm sure his palms are getting rather sweaty right now.
Yes, indeed. It's not the easiest thing to do, is race these cars flat out all the time. Like we said before, they are made of understeer. So, in the background there, that was Paul Godden and Craig Schill. I think Paul just lost it on the brakes, and Craig goes through. Jürgen Knockhart trying to come down the inside of Paul as well. Through Surtees, nicely done. But this is still going on. The two Team Mad cars gravitating towards one another. Miguel Freitas and Mark Woodhouse. Miguel Freitas, obviously previous champion. Mark Woodhouse hasn't won the championship, but he's won a race or two, if I remember rightly, and he's now won that position off Miguel. Damien Harris goes with him. Nice opportunistic stuff. Nice and safe from Miguel not to make contact, but look at that. He's been freight trained, as you often do get around Brands Hatch. That's Roman Bokler in the 22. And now Norbert Leitner wants a piece of it as well. He's just constantly going backwards here, Peter. This is painful for Miguel Freitas.
You've been Freitas trained there.
How did I not think of that? Flipping out. But either way, you're right.
To the net.
Oh.
Whoa, big block.
And now Matthew Crisp wants a piece of it. Flipping out, the poor man. He'll need a wine after this. As Guinness does the fastest lap of the race.
I'm surprised we haven't had the Ryan Walker and Matthew Crisp. Walker Crisp. I'm surprised we haven't had that.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
Too late now.
We need to up our game. Aminullah Bacchus in the chat, by the way, from the Sunday Drivers' Cup. Great to see you, mate. He says great series to watch and entertaining commentating. Thanks very much. We do hope you
set him up for that one, haven't you, Chaz? You're going. I'll give you a toe in qualifying if you can say something nice about it.
No, I've not. In all fairness, Aminullah's just a.
Well, you owe him a toe now.
I do owe him some slipstream in quali now in Sunday Drivers. That's if I'm about to race in it. But either way. Now look at what's happened here. Damien Harris has let Roman Bokler go. I don't know whether he got a slowdown or something. Very strange. I don't know what happened there, but there was definitely a run from Bokler or something. But Roman goes back in front. Just ahead, Corentin Guinness is now on the back of Mats Borg Anderson. And again, he just... I don't know what it is, but the car just always looks calm and controlled in the hands of Corentin Guinness. It always seems to look like it knows what it's doing. It's like the car's got its own character, just reflecting off his driving.
Well, that's always a sign of a lot of pace. Well, we don't call him the Laurent Aiello of Simracersworld TCR for nothing. Real consistent operator is Corentin Guinness, and lapping a little bit quicker, dearie me, a little bit quicker than Fraser Smith that last time around, only by 2/10 as he moves up into 4th position. But I wonder if, as long as Fraser Smith doesn't make any mistakes here, he's got a pretty good margin. I think it's going to be a very tall order for Guinness to catch up. Whoa!
Yeah, it will be. Oh, that's Anders Littlejohn. A lap down on these boys. Just having a right moment. And now Mark Woodhouse has got this absolute train of cars behind him. Look at them all just queuing up. Oh, a bit of contact there. I think with Norbert Leitner and Anders Littlejohn. That won't go down well. Oh, Leitner's right behind him, and just as he slows down. Wow. That was very, very close to some contact there. But we still have Niles de Kuiper leading the Academy Class Championship as things stand, so he's very much up there. This is Paul Godden and Jürgen Knockaert a bit further down. Paul Godden 18th, Jürgen Knockaert 17th at the moment in the McChallenge e-racing Belgium car. Fantastic charity. And yes, we have Jess Myers in the chat. I agree, Jess. Unfortunately, it was a real tough meet in that one. A lot of incidents and contact. Not always your fault, I'm afraid. Shame to see it.
Now, what we must ask, now we know we've called the corgi on the back of the car Klaus, but what is the real corgi's name?
And what did the message say above the rear brake light? That too, please. That information needs to be spilled now, I'm afraid, because we couldn't. I thought it was something to do with 7 with Elizabeth Rodriguez's number in Simracersworld Wheel Formula 3, but I couldn't be too sure. Now this is Roman Bokler, who couldn't be too sure about going around the outside of Mark Woodhouse right now. Swings back over to the right. Yes, Bart, we do have Ryan Walker leading Academy, but in terms of the championship, Niles de Kuiper is going to be champion if it stays where it was. Sorry, I might not have explained that very well. But Ryan Walker, well, he doesn't care about what's going on here, but Bokler gives a little bit of what we call a braille pass there to Mark Woodhouse. Now Damien Harris is in the picture as well. Is there an overlap? There is. They need to be very careful there. It's little moments like that when you get a stubborn driver that doesn't want to move over. They just, well, if they don't give you the room, they don't leave you the space, as Fernando Alonso says. And that's it, and there's a big accident. But this is great side-by-side stuff for Damien Harris and Mark Woodhouse. It's doing all the favours in the world to Roman Bokler, who's driving away. More argy-bargy. That's just comparing door sills. But I hope you've got a parts franchise, Peter, because I'll tell you what,
my box arches are bigger than yours.
My bodywork is bigger than yours, they could say. But either way, great racing by all these guys, and they've done this all season. You know, there may have been drama at times, but I know that spirits will be high in this final event. Everybody just trying to enjoy this as much as they can. And there's a story behind the dog, but it's too long for a YouTube chat. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Well, the dog's name is too long.
That's true. Yes, Blake does have the consistency class. De Kuiper is leading the academy class, and I believe that after this, he's finished ahead of Godden and Schill for the last 2 races, so I'm pretty sure that as long as De Kuiper finishes ahead of them, that'll be it. He will have it wrapped up. But look at how close this train. This lot has not spread out throughout the entire race here, Peter. They just get past one another and then they sort of overlap again and get back into it.
Yeah, they're forming a nice little mid-pack melee here, aren't they, as well? And, well, Guinness has broken away from them. He's up to 3rd now already, so he's just got Keanu Reeves Beef Bourguignon in front of him now in 2nd spot. Fraser Smith well off into the lead. I mean, who picked him for the win? A clever person, obviously. Well, I tell you, well, Fraser Smith, I wonder if he'll be getting noted. And whoop, Paul Gordon's off again in the beach. But yeah, I wonder if Fraser Smith will be getting communication of Guinness's lap times. He's a little bit faster, but not much. But I think Fraser Smith might just have enough in hand here, but it might get nervy those last couple of laps.
Yeah, it's 4 seconds at the moment back to Corentin Guinness with Keanu Bourguignon, who is no slouch at all between the pair of them. Now, that was important there that Paul Godden had gotten himself off the track, because that means that he's dropped more time to Niles De Kuiper, who is 3 positions ahead of him. He's right in front of Craig Schill, though, by 1.9 seconds. So Craig is still fighting this to the very end. But based on my very basic mathematician work, I think that Niles will still have it. I don't think there's been enough fluctuation in the points before this final race. But Guinness, he doesn't care that he's, well, obviously doesn't care that he's champion. He'll be happy that he's champion, but he doesn't let that ruin his results. Not like Lewis Hamilton, who seems to just take his foot off the gas for the last 5 races after he's wrapped it up. But anyway, Corentin Guinness absolutely on it again here. Fastest lap of the race last time round. Mats Borg Anderson having a bit of a trip. Little excursion there, but nothing too untoward. But Blake's held on well, actually, here. He's the only consistency driver inside the top 10 here, Peter. It's been some very good determination for him, Michael Blake.
It certainly has, yeah, indeed. The next person in class is Bram Class in 13th position. So, yeah, Michael Blake has held on very nicely. Indeed, he's got Roman Boakler behind him, who's a super quick driver, championship contender in the overall the precision class. And oh dear, what has happened to Corentin Guinness? Serving a drive-through. Yeah,
he might have hit the incident point limit if he's been pushing those off tracks, and he's had quite a bit of contact early on, hasn't he? So that, unfortunately, has put pay to what would have been an epic chase to the end. He tries to get out of the way of, I think that was Anders Lillejorde there, who then gets out of the way of him. Still a lap down on Guinness, so nothing to fight for. But looks to me like Fraser Smith has been handed an easier one here than he would have imagined, but he still needs to get the car to the end and get it across the line quickly. Now that is not easy, much like saying it apparently. But it's a real shame that for Corentin. I was really hoping to see if he could do a triple.
He'll have to make do with a double. Not quite the full Newcastle University line out, night out, but a double. I'm sure he'll be happy with a double and a championship win to boot.
Yes, indeed. It's certainly a shame to see, but it's been a great season from him. Dave Crozier says that he wants to win Chaz Bingo, which for the Simracersworld Formula 3 series last week, Bart actually set up a bingo card of all the things that I say on broadcasts for people to play along at home and see if they can get a full house.
Isn't it, Peter?
Isn't it, Peter? Yeah, that's one. Good evening indeed. Argy Bargy. Sunshine was one of them as well. there was a lot of things. And there you go. Or there it is. Stuff like that. But Dave
There's no need for that.
Yeah, there's no need for that. You don't need to move over on a straight. For God's sake, Fraser. I mean, Damien. I mean, no one. But either way, I've thoroughly enjoyed this championship. It's been great to have you on, Peter, and we'll get reminiscing in a minute. But yeah, Dave Crozier wants a mention of the old club series, which I used to host and race in. A mention of Snetterton, Not quite sure why Snetterton of all places.
It's Alton Park, I would have understood.
I was going to say Alton Park, I imagine, but Rick the cat as well, my wonderful ginger cat Rick. He is an absolute unit of a cat.
1999 British Touring Car season.
Yes, the 1990
British Touring Car Championship, shameless plug.
Yeah, oh yeah, which I'm not sure will be coming back or not. I'm still weighing up whether I've got time to do it this year, unfortunately. But, oh right, Dave Crozier said he's had Chaz Bingo for weeks. He didn't know about the Formula 3 one. Well, fair enough, mate. I'm glad you've been playing along. Thank you very much. I'm honoured. Absolutely honoured.
That's when you know you've hit the big town, Chaz, when people are playing bingo and what you say.
I'll have to release different cards so people have... Although you could argue that it's easy for me to fix it. Anyway, something that's not easy to fix is the fact that Fraser Smith is a bit far in front here. Well, it looks like there's only 2 cars on track, like it's a practice session, but he deserves this in all fairness, Fraser. You know, he's caused a bit of controversy here and there. I've not always agreed with what Fraser does on track, but you get these drivers that are always exciting to watch, whether you agree with it or not. They're always the feisty ones, and they make the battling more intense. And Fraser has been that guy. You know, I think he does deserve a win in this championship for the amount of pace and the amount of persistence that he's had. So this I think, well, he has taken other wins before. I just think a bit more of a dominant one like this has been a long time coming.
I think it has, yeah, definitely. He's always had strong pace. But the thing is, it's so competitive up at the front. You've got so many different, names in there. You've got Boakler, Leitner, Damien Harris, Miguel Freitas, Cornton, Guinness. And with all those guys all on such a similar pace and battling one another all the time, it's easy to get caught up in little scrapes and dings because, of course, that's touring car racing. It's a relatively underpowered car, and you're all riding so close together normally. So it is easy to do, that's for sure.
Certainly is, and we've seen a lot of it, but it's all been in good fun. The final corner of the season is about to be completed, everybody. Fraser Smith hits the brakes once more, chucks it in through clearways, and he's going to take the win in round 29 of the Simracersworld TCR Series. Rounds out the season on a high. Awesome stuff. Keanu Bourguignon is going to be a very deserved second place, but look at this. Behind Mats Borg Anderson, here's the rabble over the hill. It's Borg Anderson, Boakler, Blake, Leitner, Woodhouse, Harris and Freitas, and then Matthew Crisp rounds out his campaign with Fiercely Forward. Corentin Guinez is champion. Ryan Walker wins the Academy class in the race, but Niles de Kuiper, I'm pretty sure, wraps up the Academy Championship. Very well done, mate. Radion Motorsport by QSR will be very pleased. Craig Schill gets a podium in his last race in the series, but Fraser Smith takes the win at Brands Hatch in the last round of the season. Everyone giving him a love nudge to say well done. Lights it up with the handbrake on. What a great way to round out the season, Peter. This has been a hell of a lot of fun.
A whole lot of fun indeed, yeah. And a superb drive there from Fraser Smith. Thoroughly deserved win.
Was indeed. Plenty of celebrations going on. All of the drivers absolutely loving it. And of course, where is our champion? Where is Corentin Guinez? There he is. He's got his teammate Roman Boakler lighting it up in front of him. I don't really have many words. It's not often I'm speechless, but we have, as I said at the top of the broadcast, we've had everything this season. You know, we've had clean, consistent races with not many overtakes, maybe one or two, but then we've had a bit of drama, controversy, we've had incidents, we've had things we do agree with, things we love, things we don't quite agree with, but all the same, we have had persistent, feisty, rapid drivers in one of the best touring cars for racing at some of the best circuits in the world, Peter. What's not to love about that?
Indeed, yeah. Can you imagine if iRacing brought a super touring car?
Oh,
imagine. Oh, that would be too much. I'm going to have a lie down. Yeah, but no, in all seriousness, it's been superb to watch these guys really go for it at the front. And yeah, Corentin Guinez, I don't think anybody could argue with the fact that he is by far and away the deserving champion. He has just been that extra notch above everybody else on a consistent basis.
He has indeed. It's been absolutely phenomenal to watch him. There is your final race result of the season. Fraser Smith taking the win. Keanu Bourguignon in second. And then third to ninth, separated by 1.2 seconds. Third to 8th, separated by 7/10. Mats Borg Anderson third. Roman Boakler in fourth. Michael Blake, your new consistency class champion, finishes fifth. Norbert Leitner is sixth ahead of Mark Woodhouse, Damien Harris, Miguel Freitas and Matthew Crisp, who rounds out with a top 10 for Fiercely Forward. Corentin Guinez, your new champion, finishes 11th. Ryan Walker, another win in the academy class tonight for Ryan. That's brilliant stuff. Bram Klass finishes 13th ahead of Ashley Gaffal. Niles de Kuiper takes the academy class championship ahead of Craig Schill, Jurgen Knockhart and Paul Godden, with Danny Fenning, the last car, on the lead lap. Daniele Giudici, Anders Lillijorde and Ben Hicks, one lap down. Jessica Myers unfortunately didn't finish, and same with Scott Malcolm and Anton Dupin. We really do hope you're alright, Anton. It's been a pleasure to watch you this season, but it's also been a pleasure to watch this man, Corentin Guinez, newly crowned overall champion and a real star. And, well, to be fair, I'm quite excited to interview our very own Fraser Smith, who joins us in the box. Fraser, that win, as Peter and I have just said, it was a very, very long time coming, mate. You know, you've had a couple of wins here and there, but that one must have been one of the sweeter ones there, because that just looked like a nice sort of, well, what else could you say? Nice Tuesday night drive. Oh, he's disappeared. He's disappeared for a moment.
Speechless.
Yeah, he must be. Must be absolutely.
Or as the kids say these days, I have no words.
I have no words. I have no words. And that's probably what this man's going to
Well,
say.
there's 3 there.
4. Michael Blake joins us in the box.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Your new consistency class champion, Michael Blake, who had a great final race as well. Michael, how are you feeling right now, mate? You must be overjoyed.
That was a lot of fun. I came in tonight thinking just got to finish, and I ended up having some of the most intense battles for position I've had all season. Every time I tried to let one person go, there was another person waiting, so I ended up getting stuck in, and that was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, Brands has always been good in these cars, and I mean, there's a reason that we do keep returning here. But like you say, you know, you were in the battles there throughout the race. You were in amongst all of the precision class drivers as well, near the front of the pack, and the only non-precision class car in the top 10. It must fill you with quite a lot of pride to know that, you know, given the right circumstances, you've got the pace to match those boys.
I can't quite keep up with them. I don't know if you saw, but I was giving that everything I had to keep up with them, and I was running wide quite a bit and making a few errors here and there. But yeah, it was nice to be closer to them than I have been throughout the season.
Well, they certainly look like it, mate, and I mean, what a track to do it at as well. Brands is always so enjoyable when you're out there giving it everything, even in the Audi. But I mean, consistency class champion, you know, it says it all really. You have had the consistency, you've had your ups and downs over the championship. We know that these cars, they are never the simplest to get through an entire campaign with, but what's been your sort of highlights of the season, and what would you say has been probably one of the worst points?
Best point was Laguna Seca. I don't need to talk more about that, but
yeah,
everybody saw it. And I think best was Long Beach, actually. The running near the front in that Long Beach race, the third race at Long Beach, that was I really enjoyed that, considering that when I saw that track on the calendar, I was dreading showing up for it.
That's always the case, though, isn't it? I mean, from when I've raced in series before, and I'm sure Peter's done the same, you know, when you see a track and you think, oh, I'm not really looking forward to that, but you end up having a good result. You know, I've always had that with tracks that I don't like. I seem to go well there at, so it's always an interesting surprise, but a great campaign all the same, mate. You are, of course, the consistency class champion, and we want to congratulate you on that. But is there any final words before we wrap the season up with you?
Big thanks to everybody that put it on, especially Bart. Really big thank you to him for putting this series together. It's been a lot of fun.
Cracking. Great to speak to you, Michael. Well done, mate. Really do deserve that, and hopefully we'll speak again very soon.
Take care, guys.
Cheers. Michael Blake, your new consistency class champion, and he's back now. Is Fraser Smith. He's got his audio issues sorted, but Fraser, you finally got that win, mate. And I mean, we know, as I said, you've had some before, but either way, that one must have been a bit more special. Last round of the season and all the way, well, at the front all the way through, pretty much.
Yeah, it was good. I wish there was some more battling, but it's always good to get a comfortable race like that. It's not very often you get one.
No, I was going to say, I mean, we had a bit of a sort of a sentimental wrap-up near the end of the race. You know, we've not always agreed with everybody's driving and stuff, and all the standards and things here in the commentary box. But either way, you have been a standout, exciting driver this season and making the battles interesting and always up there with the pace. So, we thank you for that because, Full Send Racing, you definitely live up to the team name, don't you? But I imagine at the same time, while you didn't have those battles in the last race, I imagine that was quite the breath of fresh air, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I do there's a couple of mistakes I made because, I don't find it necessarily hard to be on my own, but I do find it a bit easier to be pushing someone along or having somebody trying to overtake me because it just keeps me focused, really. Yeah. So, yeah, it was okay. I was quite lucky I didn't bin it quite near the end. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I don't think we caught it, but it was a no news is good news case for you in that one, I think, with it being a clean ride to the end. But yeah, I know what you mean though. Having a reference car around you just helps you focus on your pace. You've got a bit of a visual representation of how quickly you're going. Then you're just chasing numbers otherwise, and it can get a bit frustrating. But another win in the bag, another rather successful campaign, a bit up and down in places. But have you enjoyed the overall experience?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. This week I came into it knowing that after Zolder and Long Beach, I was pretty much going to be sixth, and that was that. So I just went for it, to be honest, and it didn't end too well for me in race one or Norbert. But like I said, I've apologised to him, and I had nothing to lose today, and I just went for it. So.
And it paid off in the end, and you got another race win, mate. So, smashing stuff. But obviously, end of the season now. Plenty more racing coming up from you, I'm sure, in a number of other categories and disciplines. So we'll look forward to seeing that. But for now, is
Always
there any?
Busy.
Indeed, mate. Is there anyone you want to give a quick shout out to while you're on the stream?
Yeah, both yourself and Peter, especially Bart as well, Simracersworld, all my teammates at Full Sim Racing, and everyone who's made this season so fun.
It certainly has been fun to watch, mate. Well done tonight, and hopefully we'll speak to you again soon, buddy. Have a good evening.
Cheers, see ya.
Cheers. Great stuff. Great stuff. Good win there from Fraser, to be fair. Really, really good drive all the way to the end. Someone that had a nasty bit of contact in that race, but still managed to push that Vectra, Audi across the line. Matthew Crisp, tell you what, mate, you were all over it tonight. You always had battles going on around you. You were always having contact, but it looked like one of the most fun nights of racing you could have signed off with.
It was. I think yellow and black are unlucky colours for me. I think red and white and black suits me a bit better.
Well, Peter and I were saying early on, that livery just suits everything you do to it. It just always looks good. But, Brands Hatch in these cars always seems like a laugh. And you obviously, you like the place. It's one of your... It's your
bit
home,
biased.
Yeah, it's your home circuit, isn't it, Brands?
Yeah, I live about 45 minutes away, so closest track to me, yeah, so... Yeah.
Bit more knowledge around there, a bit more pace, do you reckon? Or is it?
I've never driven it, to be fair. I've been there many times, I've never driven it.
It's kind of like me with Alton Park, I'm like, oh, it's favourite track in the world. I'm so bad around Alton Park, it's undescribable. But either way, it paid off for you tonight. You had some good battles, and that's the thing, really, because, not to sort of sound too harsh, but you sort of went in tonight knowing you're not in the battle for the overall championship. You can sort of let your hair down a bit and just crack on with it, and it seemed like that's what you were doing. Am I right in that assumption?
Yeah, I knew Brands for me obviously was one of my stronger tracks, or the strongest track of the season. Looking at the championship standings, and I think I secured 7th overall. So we're looking at who signed up at the start of the season. That's pretty much the best I think I could have, or what I expected to do. So I'm pretty happy with in that regards.
Well, it certainly looked like a good evening, mate, and of course, always good to chat to you. And obviously, best of luck with your ventures going forward as well from Fiercely Forward. It's been great to watch you working with those guys, and hopefully I get to commentate on you in your new team going forward, mate. But for now, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I might as well thank my new teammates at Alcontech NHR Esports, because I know they were watching. They were watching tonight. Yeah, and again to everyone at Fiercely Forward. Yeah, they're the people who've given me this opportunity to do stuff like this, which, yeah, it's not something even a year ago I expected to be doing week in, week out, and speaking to you guys and meeting all the people who I've looked up to. It's still a bit of a dream to me, really.
Well, it's great to hear it, man. That's the thing, mate. Sim racing is it's a wonderful community and a great place to be. So it's great to hear that people like yourself still enjoying that aspect of it as well. And Alcontech as well. I didn't know which team it was, so a wonderful group of guys. I've done a little bit of work for them, and that is a very, very strong team to be to move into, mate. So all the best for that in future, and I'm sure we'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Yeah, see you.
Cheers. Well, let's have a little ganders here then, because we were supposed to be having a little chat with a Mr. Daniele Giudici, but he seems to have disappeared, Peter, which is typical, isn't it? The happiest man in sim racing. He's probably just gone to smile at himself in the mirror or something for a few minutes. We will just try and get hold of him, everybody, as we just see the Jess Myers incident there into the wall. That car went in so hard. And it's crazy how quickly things like that can happen, isn't it, in these cars? Because they are built like tanks, but they don't half get shoved around wheel-to-wheel contact-wise.
They certainly do. Yeah, I think they're maybe a wee bit on the fragile side, but I guess it depends. You want it to be realistic, of course, as well. But yeah, and no matter what the damage model is, if you go on the wall that hard, it's switch it off. It's knackered.
Yeah, indeed.
And now I do see one big name turning up in our interview waiting area, Chaz, Bart Daleman. I
do, yes. Now I was waiting for a moment to bring Bart in, because I'm just waiting to see whether Daniele gets there, but. Bart Daleman, the man himself behind the scenes and very much in control of all that goes on here. You've had a bit of a roller coaster this season, haven't you, Bart? But overall, it's been a bit of a bonkers season, but still great racing out there.
Yeah, it was an enjoyment to watch, and I don't know where Daniele went. He suddenly was gone. So yeah, it was an enjoyment to watch. I mean, like I said multiple times, the TCR drivers are very, very passionate, and that's not only on the track. It's also off the track.
We are so sorry, Bart.
Yeah, no worries, Daniele, no worries.
We love you.
We do have Daniele with us. Daniele, that was a bit of a rough final meeting for you, mate, but still always stuck in there, and I imagine you're still smiling.
Of course I am. Well, but this time I'm not really smiling because I have to try and qualify myself for the Italian GT, so I'm absolutely shitting myself. So at the moment I'm just finishing here and then going to a couple of rounds to try and qualify myself. But yeah, no, I'm super happy. I'm super happy that we managed to do this for Bart as a thank you, because he really was the heart and brain for this whole series, and the quality and what it has done for us. We can't say thank you enough. And having been able to do a little gesture of as a token of thank you, I believe. I hope you appreciate it, my man.
It certainly was great to watch, wasn't it, Bart? It was the fact they managed an entire lap as well, and they still managed to make contact. I love that.
Of course, we are TCR drivers. You can't get away without contacts.
It's very true indeed, very true. And Bart, I believe you had a message as well, did you not?
Yeah, indeed. It's a little bit. Daniele had to ruin it, so no worries. But I want to thank Daniele, and it was a little bit of a setup, Daniele. So normally you should have to go in first, and then Chaz was going to pull me in, but you have done a very, very great job the last 4 or 5 weeks. After I was a little bit down after the criticism I got in the background from several drivers. About the stewarding, and for me personally, I took it as an offense to all the hard work that people put in. So it was not something I like to hear. And after that, you took over and you did a very, very good job with the series, and I'm really, really grateful for what you have done. So I have a gift for you, and I will set you up with Michael Blake from Simortal, and he will create a model TCR car with the livery of Sim stickers for you, for all the work you've done. So I'm very grateful for what you have done.
Mate, you shouldn't have done that. This is what friends does when helping out each other. At the end of the day, you were giving us a lot. It was the minimum to try and help you out because you couldn't do it on your own. It was natural for me to step in. As I said, as part of my job, I'm used to deal with complicated situations and hotheads. But as I said,
in DMs he called it a kindergarten. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. I'm kind of used to kindergarten discussion sometimes, but as I said, I believe the moment you said that we were stepping up, it was also a wake-up call for all of us. I could see a change in the communities. Everybody responded in some way. So I believe that was really good. And now, as I said, I can't express how much we have to thank you for that. You shouldn't have gone that extra mile for the model.
Please stop.
Don't make me cry on live on the stream, man.
I'm sweating. Please stop.
You're only sweating.
When I saw the windshield, I was already, oh my god, no, please, no.
You have to say the responsible is Eugene Motorsport. They came all the way from this one. It's their idea, and everybody just suddenly jump on board and say, yes, let's do it. You can't even imagine. We have a full channel just for bar surprise, and you can't even imagine.
there is an entire Discord server where it was all being discussed and sorted out, and I got all the decals done with the help of Paul Godden as well.
Oh my god,
it's been great. But honestly, gents, fantastic. Wow, my voice. Fantastic touches from the pair of you, honestly, and Peter and I are just as grateful as well that you guys have done this to make things as smooth for us up here in the commentary box. And I mean, to be fair, Peter, I'm sure you'll agree, we've had a hell of a season to commentate on, and it's these guys we have to thank for keeping it all ticking over.
Indeed, yeah, well done to both of you guys. The thing is we get to be the amateur stewards, the armchair stewards here in the commentary box, but we don't get any of the blowback that you guys do. So thank you so much for all your effort. And
you don't, Peter. Chaz loves it, and that's why he always jumps into it.
He can't help himself. You might have noticed.
I know. That's why we love you both, guys. I really have to thank you for all the amazing commentary you have done for this season. Honestly, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, guys. We unfortunately are coming to the end of the show, though, I'm afraid. So I'll leave it to you first, Daniele. Is there anybody that you'd like to just give a quick thank you to wrap things up?
To our community, to all of us, Bart, because he's an amazing person. We can't do anything without him. And you can't go away from that one, mate. And you too, as I said, great commentary as well. And to me, our TCR community, we really stepped out to whatever happened. Despite the rocky season, I believe we ended up in a really positive note. That could be a good starting point for something in the future. Let's see.
Fingers crossed on that one. Bart, any thanks from you, mate?
Yeah, thanks to you guys, because Chaz is not only doing commentating, he does a lot of work behind the scenes as well to get this all sorted. So thank you, Chaz, for all the work you've done, and
no problem.
Yeah, thank you for the amazing decal layer that I wasn't going into this round thinking I was going to surprise Daniele, but it went the other way around. So I didn't expect this at all. So and thanks to all the drivers for participating. Thanks, Peter, as well, for bringing more puns into the commentating. One Chaz is not enough. So
double the puns, double.
Yeah. So thank you all for.
Love it. Well, it's an absolute pleasure, gentlemen, and I'm sure we'll all work together again very, very soon. But,
absolutely.
For now, have yourselves a fantastic evening. Have a beer on me as well, or a wine, or whatever you would like to drink. And I'll speak to you both very, very soon. Cheers, gents. Much appreciated.
Sure. Thank you very much, all guys.
Cheers. Well, it's getting emotional here in the commentary box, Peter. I tell you what, it's a wonderfully grateful and humble community that we've got, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah, and just general kindness all around there, which is nice to see there from both Daniele and Bart, and now allowed us to finish the season on a nice note.
Definitely, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun this season with you, mate. We've had so many laughs, so many stereotypes, and we've come up with many an idea for just video content between the two of us away from the championship. But I thoroughly look forward to sorting that out. Is there any sort of final highlights or thanks from you for this season that we've been able to enjoy?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I probably Naveed Hussain winning in the dodgy Shirtmobile. Yeah, probably.
Oh, it was an absolute corker at Oran Park. That was a really good meeting. And I have to agree, you know, tonight was phenomenal. That really kept me on my toes. I really enjoyed the Charlotte Roval round. You know, the standards of driving weren't at their best at that point, but the racing itself when it was going on was phenomenal. And it was still very exciting. So that's a definite one for me. But unfortunately, for the final time this season, everybody, that is all we have time for. A massive list of thanks, of course, including Bart Daleman and Daniele Giudici for everything they've done behind the scenes. All of the drivers as well for putting up with me and jumping in and arguing with drivers who was at fault in Discord and everything week in, week out. I cannot help myself, but I will restrain myself going forward. Everybody that's been watching as well, all of our new subscribers and viewers, you've all been absolutely wonderful in the YouTube chat. And of course to you, Peter, it's been an absolute joy. It's been hilarious. Looking forward to every Tuesday night where I can commentate, doing what I love, watching motorsport, and have such a laugh with a great guy as well. Awesome, awesome fun. But as for now, everybody, thank you very, very much for watching the Simracersworld TCR Series this season, and we will hopefully catch you very, very soon. Good night.